Alright, so going over to my friend's house yesterday, I managed to, I was on the freeway and I heard this large chunking noise every time I hit a brake. So I got off, and when I got to his house, had him take a look. And as it turns out, this front right brake caliper is loose. I think the top pin, or I think the bottom bolt might have come loose and the whole thing's rattling around in there. I don't think that's my actual sound problem, but it might be. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tires off. Since I've been having a leaky brake problem, I think I might have fixed it. The fluid level hasn't gone down any since I've been trying to. Since I went ahead and retightened this. If that didn't work, I was going to put plumber's tape on there and try that, but it seems to have stopped. But I still get a spongy feeling, and I think that that's probably it. So I'm going to go ahead and take all my tires off. I got the brake bleed caliper tubal set that I've yet to use yet. I've been waiting until I could be in here. So I'm going to go ahead and push those back, and I also have a vacuum hand pump kit, which I will be using to bleed the lines. So I'm going to go ahead and finally take care of the brakes, get them super solid. But while I have the tires off, I'm going to get the car completely up, and then when I have the tires off, I'm going to rotate them too. Double check everything underneath there, make sure everything's really nice and tight. I'm going to replace some muffler hangers. We'll see what I get to. Bada bing, bada boom. Also, I just wanted to quickly add that my engine technology intake tube, I don't know if you probably haven't seen any other videos, but that broke off where it holds on to the factory mounting spot right there. This broke off. See the weld. Wrote them a quick letter, asked them what they could do for me about it. They asked if I had the original invoice and if I filled out my card and sent it in. I said yeah, sent them a picture of the invoice. And then boom, they sent me a brand new one. So I'm going to go ahead and toss that on there too. Since I have got the new coupler on there. It seems to be holding pretty well. I'm going to take it off, take a peek, make sure it still is holding pretty well. We'll see, huh? Alright, got this bad boy up. Guess it's time to see, time to take the tires off here. Let me try and keep track of which one's which. Man, I'm up off the ground. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Alright. Alright, so I got all the tires off. Just went around really quick. Look at them. They all look pretty good. This one, I was wondering about a camber issue, and I think this is a little dollar store bullshit one, but I think all the other ones are pretty good. I think this one needs to come out a little bit. I was a little suspicious looking at it a couple times just from afar, but yeah. But anyways, so I was distracted by the neighbor's car. I'm looking at this guy, and it definitely, I don't know if I'll be able to get it on tape, but there's quite a bit of play in this. And so I'm going to have to figure out where the play is. These bolts, the actual caliper mounting bolts to the knuckle are pretty tight on there. I'm going to give it a couple shots, see what I can figure out what's going on here, and get back to it. Alright, so I've got the caliper off. I'm going to reset the piston here and bleed it, and then re-put the caliper back on. I'm going to make sure I got this nice and stable. These are clipped in, everything's on there, torqued down to spec. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so I put the caliper back in. Caliper piston, reset it. Excuse me. Pumped the brakes a bunch, got it reset, bled the lines, gravity bled all four, refilled my tube here. Even started the car for a little bit, trying to figure out if I can get that noise to work. But it doesn't feel like showing up, so that makes me think that noise is either suspension related or hood related. Because I even set the hood down and got in the car, and I still didn't, there wasn't any real noise coming from anywhere. It sounds, as I'm sitting there, it sounds like it's coming from like down on the firewall right there. It sounds like what it sounds like is the actual speedometer cable down in there, flopping around in there. It sounds like a Yahtzee thing or whatever. I don't know. Check out the video if you want to try and hear what it sounds like. But yeah, brakes. Get those guys back on there. Go all the way around. What I'm doing right this second is I'm going to adjust the camber on this and bring it back out a little bit. As of right now, it's sitting a little in. I'm going to bring it back out. Visually, I can see it, and it's been confirmed with this guy, so I need to bring it out a little bit. Luckily, I have the adjustable, Moog adjustable. So I'm also down here just tightening up, going through, making sure I have my trailing arms are tight, and just overall suspension tightness, because I replaced it all, and I've driven about 1,000 miles on it. So it's good to get down there and make sure everything's re-tight again, but anything's too loose, I'm going to wait until I put it back on the ground to retighten it. Other than that, I haven't really messed with anything. The top caliper bolt was a little loose. The bottom one was pretty tight. This thing is still has a bit of a rock to it, but it's not as predominant as it was. I'm hoping maybe it was just an air bubble or a piece of dirt or something. It's still a little iffy, but it seems to be working. It's holding out just fine for me. So yeah, right now I'm going to do that. Or I've pretty much got that off my checklist. Now I'm just going to tighten up the suspension back here, see what's up. If I feel like it, I might pull out the sander and try and buff out the really bad parts. I'm not going to try and get it perfect. I just want to buff it out so there isn't actually like 3D chunk. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's definitely got depth to it. So yeah, I'm going to hit that up with the buffer, the Dremel, buff it a little bit. I have some spray, some overspray on there. I'm going to just hit with the buffing wheel. That should just take it right off without scratching anything. Other than that, maybe clean them up a little bit. Change out the muffler hangers. See what I'm doing here. I don't know. We'll see what I get to. Alright. Got the brakes are all blood. Tires are back on. Obviously it's back on the ground. Just looking at the adjustment I made to the upper control arm. I think it was adjustable camber. It looks it's pretty dead on. I think that the tire itself is like this, which means I need to adjust my trailing arm. You can see that. That's pretty obvious. Yeah, it's definitely at an angle there. It needs to come back out like that. Next time I take the car off, for sure I'll do that. This side has always pretty much looked pretty good as far as straightness with the body. So you can see, I feel like that other side sticks out way more. Maybe it's just the sunlight or something. No. Yeah, you can totally see it bows in. The other side looks alright. The fronts are good. But yeah, back on the ground, ready to go. I'm going to do some sanding and finish the other video.